everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thanks so much for joining me. Well, we're making another Christmas card and we're using the Winter Wreath cutting die set. This is a beautiful die set that creates two different sizes of wreath. There's two different joys that you could add to it. You can actually make the wreath part of the joy by putting a J in front and a Y. Or you can even layer it all together in front of the wreath. It just looks so pretty. So we'll be using this on our card today. And then for my greeting, we're going to be using a stamp set called Season's Greetings. This is one, you would think this is a whole bunch of mini or little strips of sentiments, but this is actually one stamp set. So one stamp through the MISTI, and then you have a coordinating die that cuts out a lot of Hero Arts greeting sets. This is the Sentiment Strips Fancy die. So you would line this up here, and you can create a whole bunch of sentiment strips all at once. So we'll be using this on our card also. So let's jump in and create this card. It's going to be a really easy card. Okay, there's two pieces to the wreath. This is the detailed piece where you can punch out pieces. This is just one piece that will cut out like a donut shape. Okay, I'm going to take the, I'll consider this the background. I'm going to die cut this out twice, once with the Bellini, once with the chiffon. Okay, and then the detail layer I'm going to cut out with chiffon. We're going to go really light and pretty. Now I'm also taking the word joy, and we'll cut that out with craft. There is some oranges in here that I'm going to cut out the background piece with my Sicily, and then the outside edge of it, you just layer on top. The wedge piece, I'm going to do it with my coral here. Now we have the bow, which is really pretty. I'm actually going to get a bigger piece. I am going to use this though. For the bow, I'm going to die cut this out with, there's three pieces to the bow, but I don't need the center. I don't think you'll see the center with the glittery cardstock, so I'm not going to bother cutting that out. But I am going to cut out the hanger. Okay? And then with this piece, I wanted to add a little extra glitter to the card other than the bow. I thought we'd add some to the joy. So what I'm going to do is do a little tearing with it. When I tear it, I tear forward because I really want that white showing. You see how this has white? This is Spellbinders Champagne Glitter Cardstock. I don't think Spellbinders has it anymore. But I think that your treasured cardstock would work the same. Okay, and then I'm going to take the joy, I'm going to actually angle it a little bit, like this, and like this, and then maybe a little bit on the Y here, at an angle, and I'm going to die cut this out. So we have half of, so we'll have some torn glitter on half of our joy. I'll die cut this out too. Okay, so I will do that and I'll be right back. My die cutting is all done. I want to mention two things. Instead of doing two backgrounds, this is what the background looks like. Okay, it has cut lines, which are really nice. But instead of doing a Bellini with this one, I ended up doing two front ones with two different colors. Okay, I thought it would just give me a little more fullness. And then also with my Rainforest cardstock, I didn't tell you the die that I was going to use, but I want some small leaves to go with my oranges. So I just went through my dies and found a leaf flourish that I could use to add to my oranges, which I already put together. They're really easy to put together. Just layer the top with the bottom. For my leaf, I'm using the Sprinkle and Grow die set, but any leaf you have would work. Just go through your stash. Now to build our wreath, it's going to be really simple. Let's start with our joy. I want to add some brown detail on my joy. So I'm bringing in my blending tool and then using my Simon Says Stamp Cappuccino ink, I'm going to pick up some color. I'm just going to add a little bit of the brown here and kind of fade up. Like so. I want the brown to be just above the letter like this, okay? And then I'll do the same thing with this one. I'm going to line it up and kind of visualize where to put the brown. There we go. Wonderful. Now we can glue the glittery cardstock to its background. Lovely. I will go ahead and flip. We're going to eventually put foam tape behind here, but in the meantime we're going to make our bow. I'm just going to add a dot of glue at the top of it. Now this bow can be going this way or it can go droopy like this. I'm going to go droopy so the loops are hanging down. We'll give that a second to grab, and then that will be our bow. And then as far as our oranges go, there are 2 different sizes. I have 3 large, 3 small. And I'm going to bring in my scissors, and we're just going to snip some leaves here. And I'm going to add some leaves to the orange. Okay, I did have to cut one more leaf, just so I can put a little bit of greenery in all those oranges. Okay, those are all done, and then we can build our wreath. And this is going to just take no time at all. First, we're going to add just a circle of glue on the inside. I'm going to take this and add it to my chiffon. And then I'm going to add another ring of glue on the outside edge, and then we're going to add another layer of chiffon right over the top. And then we have a beautiful wreath that takes, and the die does all the work. Isn't that so pretty? Okay, I am going to flip this over, put some foam tape behind all of my elements. So everything's popped up. We're going to put these off to the side, and now we're going to stamp our sentiment. This is what I mean by it being just one piece. It's just one big, it's just one stamp, and you're good to go. Since I have cappuccino out on my desk, I'm going to stamp with cappuccino. Now, my panel was a little short. This will fit an A2 panel, but my measurement is a little off. So the top letters that said I made this for you and believe are cut off. But I'm just going to use it because why waste all these other greetings, right? So I'm going to take my die and I'm just going to line it up here. And I will run this through my die cut machine, and we're going to have a whole bunch of greetings. I thought I made this for you. I thought I saw I made this for you, and I thought that would go really good for my card today. Let's see. Special delivery, handmade with love. I think that's the one I'm going to use. Okay, so we'll put the rest of these to the side. I do need to bring in my paper trimmer and trim this down, and then our greeting is good to go. I'm going to put this with my joy. Okay, and then for my background, I want it to look a little bit more vintage, so I'm using my cappuccino ink. Okay, I'm going to add some to my work surface here, and then I'm going to add a little water. Let me stir it up a little bit. I want to stir it up a little bit, and then I'm going to go over 3 spots on this panel and just add a little bit of that distressed color. Maybe down here. I just want a little bit. It's going to pull back quite a bit. Then I'm just going to wipe it off. I just want a distressed look here. And then maybe we'll do a little bit of splattering. Maybe a little bit over here. And I'm just gonna tap that off here. And that's just exactly what I was looking for. Something a little bit, to make it look a little bit older than it is. Okay? I'm gonna take this panel and put it on my top folding card base. almost looks like coffee stains. And then now we can assemble everything. Let's bring in all of our elements. We're doing the tone on tone, so I'm just going to add this here. And then we're going to add the joy, right? I'm going to put my O right in the center. Okay, and then we have our bow here, which I'm going to tack at the very bottom of my O. And then we have our hanger that I'm going to attach here. I'm not sure where I want to put the Handmade with Love yet. So let's add our oranges next. We're going to tuck some of our oranges in here now. Okay, I'm going to bring in a little bit more white because of my grading is just popping. So to do that, I'm going to use my white acrylic speckle. I've been using it a lot for Christmas cards. I'm just going to add some to my work surface here. And then we're going to pick it up and we're just going to do a little splattering. Okay, and lastly, for finishing touches, I'm going to bring in some of my Platinum Pearl Ranger Liquid Pearls. And I'm going to add some pearls in the background too. Lovely. And you know, I think I'm going to add some white pearls too. I'm also bringing in my white opal. And as I'm looking at the Homemade with Love, I think I'm not going to use that. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up. And we're not going to add our greeting. We're just going to use Joy as our greeting. I think the Handmade with Love just kind of takes over, but I am going to add some white pearls too. I made the white pearls a little bit bigger so they kind of stand out in the background. And that will finish off my card today. Something a little bit different. I really like the vintage look of this. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.